We have some amazing new footage from Hogwarts Legacy showing off the common rooms of the 4 different houses, plus we still have to discuss that new trailer that launched at Gamescom, the game's delayed to February 10th next year, and the pre-orders that went live, so really a lot of stuff to talk about. Some of it sounds very interesting and some of it doesn't sound that good at all, so if you are excited for Hogwarts Legacy, then totally leave a like, subscribe for way more videos on the game, and let's go. So let's start with that new footage that aired as part of the Back to Hogwarts celebration. We now have full walkthroughs for each of the 4 common rooms in Hogwarts, and I have to say they all look amazing. The Gryffindor common room is of course the least surprising, we've seen and read much about it already, but I reckon someone on this channel will still appreciate all the red touches. Moving on to Slytherin, I think they definitely win the prize for the coolest entrance, as this door revealing snake really looks awesome. The rest of the room is also surprisingly beautiful, especially the central chamber with the stained glass windows. We also have Ravenclaw, which obviously has some big bookcases for all the smart kids to study, plus there's piles of books pretty much everywhere, but once again it's the central room with this giant glass dome that steals the show for me. But personally, the one that stole my heart was the Hufflepuff common room, which just looks so different from all the other ones. It's very cozy, there's plants everywhere, and most of the doors are round and wooden, almost giving me a Hobbit house vibes. And if I had to pick a place to come and relax after a long day of school, this would definitely be the one. And you might have already noticed that in each of the trailers our player character is wearing an awesome house-specific variant of their robes, with the house animal patterned on the back and the house colors proudly on display as well. Well, believe it or not, but you can actually already make sure you get these robes right now, because these house fanatic robes are part of a new feature that also was announced during the Back to Hogwarts celebration. You can now link your Harry Potter fan accounts to your Warner Bros. Games account in order to receive some special rewards, and these amazing looking robes are part of that. You also get this beaked skull mask, which we sadly have no gameplay of, but it does look really cool, as well as your own personal wand. Because with a Harry Potter fan account, you can of course take multiple quizzes to discover your Hogwarts house and your type of wand, and by linking your accounts you can then bring these into the game as well. It is an option though, as linking your accounts doesn't lock you into anything, as confirmed by the community manager, and the game's official FAQ confirms that you will be able to get all of these robes when you link your accounts. I do still think you're only able to wear the robes of the house your character is in, but who knows, maybe we're able to switch it up. But as cool as that new common room footage looks, there's also still a lot to go over in the trailer that premiered at Gamescom as well. We see our main character out on a mission with Slytherin student Sebastian Sallow, who we were previously introduced to during the State of Play. And this entire sequence of events is actually an optional questline, as confirmed by community manager Chandler Wood on Twitter. This is apparently a part of Sebastian's companion questline, whom we know is looking for a way to reverse a curse that rests on his family. Apparently, he believes that researching Salazar Slytherin, one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts, will somehow help him out in his endeavor, and while the mention of that name is already something really exciting for longtime Potter fans, the additional mention of the Cruciatus curse was actually even more interesting. I kept thinking back to the State of Play that mentioned that some companions can teach you new abilities, and the video description here literally poses the question, will you choose to learn this dark magic? Dark magic here obviously referring to Crucio, which to clarify is one of the 3 unforgivable curses that are forbidden to any witch or wizard. So it sounds like Sebastian could be the key to us learning more about dark magic. We already know that at some point our character is also able to cast Avada Kedavra, another forbidden curse, so right now it looks like we can go down a pretty dark path. To add to that, the new trailer plus the updated FAQ on the game's official website also give us a lot more info on the choices we are able to make in the story and how those will influence our character. In the trailer, we see Sebastian posing the player character a choice. Have him cast Crucio on us, or learn Crucio and cast it on him. The screen splits here, clearly displaying 2 different scenes, but thanks to a clip from the game's official Twitter, we now know there's actually a 3rd choice. Here we see the same scene but with the conversation HUD, and next to the events shown in the trailer, we can also choose to turn tail and not learn Crucio at all. And the consequences of this choice should be pretty big. Crucio is a curse that tortures its target, so whoever takes the hit will suffer a lot of pain. Plus, either you or Sebastian will have to cast one of the unforgivable curses, which will likely lead to the one that's done the casting being punished, or worse, expelled. However, there doesn't really seem to be a quote-unquote right option here, and that's because Hogwarts Legacy will not have a morality system for your character. With the game's FAQ stating that it does not have a morality system, but players will encounter various quests and storylines that will influence the witch or wizard they choose to become. So it sounds like something similar to The Witcher 3, for instance, where you were able to make important choices but without the constraints of a light or dark side meter to tell you if you're doing the right thing. I personally think this is very exciting, and I hope they managed to deliver more interesting choices like the one we saw in the trailer. And speaking of interesting choices, of course, another important decision you need to make is which Hogwarts house your character will be a part of. We already knew from the game's FAQ page this choice would be made at the start of the game, but thanks to some character creation footage that was shown, I think we can conclude that you'll have to make the decision in character creation itself. We can see the different icons here, one for presets, one for facial features, hair, scars, but the final one is the Hogwarts crest. And the full version of that displays both the colors and the animals of the 4 different houses. So yeah, I really can't think of what other component of character creation this could be, and it makes a lot of sense too. The sorting hat, which we know we'll still be putting on judging from earlier trailers, looks at the type of person you are. So you're already a Hufflepuff or a Slytherin before you set foot in Hogwarts, the hat just confirms it. But like I already said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, as the game's recently updated FAQ answered a question a lot of people had about the game. Will we be able to play Quidditch? And sadly, the answer is no, as the FAQ flat out confirms the wizard sport will not be a part of the game. So while we will be able to fly brooms and even take a flying class to master our broomstick skills, it will only be used for traversal and broomstick races, not Quidditch. And like I mentioned in the intro, the game's pre-orders also went live, and that caused a lot of confusion. The most surprising reveal was the fact that the game would have some exclusive content on PlayStation, including an additional mission that's not available on other platforms. This mission is not tied to pre-orders, by the way, something that was confirmed by the official game's Twitter, so everyone on PlayStation can play it. And thanks to Reddit user Tintina, we might already have an idea of what that quest is going to be about. They spotted that on the German listing for the collector's edition, there is a mention of an exclusive quest about a haunted store in Hogsmeade. Now the mention has since been removed, plus it was also visible on pre-orders for the Xbox collector's edition, so take this with a grain of salt. But with there only being one other mention of quest exclusivity, this might just be the PlayStation only quest. And for those of you who are now thinking about the Shrieking Shack, keep in mind that the quest mentions a haunted store, and to my knowledge the shack has never been a store even before it got haunted, so I think it'll take us someplace else. But like I said earlier, that's not all. Pre-orders for any version on a PlayStation console will also get exclusive access to the recipe for the Felix Felicis potion. And yes, that means you are unable to earn it on other platforms. Which is slightly upsetting, as Felix Felicis was a pretty key part of the plot of the Half-Blood Prince, but then again, I think that the game version of this potion will simply be a boost to luck-based stats like crits and item drop modifiers, if those are in the game, so it's not that big of a deal. Plus, every pre-order of the game, no matter the version or console, will get access to this Onyx Hippogriff mount, which I'd argue is way more exciting. And there's actually another exclusive pre-order item from the looks of it, as spotted by Hitmonchan over on Reddit. Some regional Amazon pages, like the French one that this image was taken from, show an Amazon version of the game that comes with an exclusive astronomer's hat, which is not as big a deal as an exclusive quest, but still, it's a nice looking hat and I want it. And with the Amazon edition only showing up on specific national versions of the site, it's kind of unclear how you actually get it. But even without these exclusive bonuses and the lack of communication about them, people still weren't happy with the pre-order reveals. In fact, the internet seemed especially disappointed with the physical contents of the collector's edition. The digital side of things is actually pretty good. You get all the content from the digital deluxe edition, which includes the Dark Arts cosmetics pack and a hat, the Dark Arts battle arena and the Thestral mount, which by the way is the only way you're seemingly able to mount and fly this creature, once again confirmed by the community manager on Twitter. Which is interesting, as we previously thought Thestrals could only be seen by those who had witnessed death, but apparently paying more will also work. And a great meme, by the way, from Darkwing Dork over on Reddit. This is exactly how I remembered this scene from the movie. Next to that, the collector's edition gives you access to the unique Kelpie rope with moving green kelp designs on it, and on the physical side we have a steel case for the game and a life-size wand with a prop book that doubles as a floating base for the wand. Which does look really cool, but the price of admission here is $300, and with how much goodies you get for that, people were understandably upset. Especially when you realize that the digital deluxe edition is only $80, so you're paying paying $220 for a steel case, an exclusive robe, and a floating wand. I think a lot of people, myself included, would rather have more Hogwarts themed goodies for that price tag. And it feels even worse compared to the most expensive editions of both Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok, for instance, which both had a large centerpiece collectible but many smaller goodies and extras too, plus both of those were actually cheaper than the Hogwarts Legacy Collector Edition. There was also some confusion as to the differences between the Deluxe and Digital Deluxe versions of the game, which again was cleared up by the community manager on Twitter. The main thing to know about here is that there is no next gen upgrade included in the Deluxe Edition, that's only part of the Digital Deluxe Edition. Also, for some reason, the Dark Arts Garrison hat is also only part of the Digital Deluxe and Collector's Editions, not the regular Deluxe Edition. When we hear more about it, we will of course report on it here, so subscribe to make sure you catch the next video and leave a like on this one if you enjoyed it. If you want, you can watch our previous info roundup on the game by clicking on the screen. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.